In this video, I'm going to explain the importance of productivity when working from home. It's important to me because I work from home 24/7. Well, not 24/7, but you know. And also, if you work from the office or anything like that, it could also be helpful. And I've got a bonus tip for the end. So first things first, setting up a productive environment. Ideally, if you have enough room in your house, you want to have a designated space for doing work and being productive. For me, that's my desk setup over here in this corner. Having a designated workspace helps you eliminate distractions, so you know that when you come to this spot, that's a time to be productive. And the goal is for it to essentially become a habit when you enter this designated area. One important tip that I have, if you're working at a computer all day, is to make your setup ergonomic. That means you want to have your monitor an arm's length away and about at eye level height. You want a keyboard that's at a level that's comfortable for you and a nice desk chair that you don't mind sitting in and don't get uncomfortable throughout the day. A lot of people ask me what kind of desk chair is the best or what I recommend. I have a nice desk chair. It's the Embody by Herman Miller, which goes for like $1,500 retail. But a little secret, and what I recommend to most people, is to go to a local office supply store for furniture and just get the best that you can get for your budget. This $1,500 chair cost me about $350, which is a pretty good deal if I say so myself. Buying used, I mean, it's just a chair and it's one of the things that's gonna keep you most comfortable throughout the day. So I think it's a good investment. In terms of eliminating distractions, you'll notice that I don't have a phone right here. And I actually never keep my phone by my desk during the workday. I try to keep it in my bedroom. I always emphasize the importance of taking breaks, and a lot of times we'll just habitually go to our phone when we take a break, but that makes it so much harder to get back into the work mode if you're doing something like scrolling on social media and something that's just giving you hit after hit of dopamine. So you want to keep those kind of things like phone and video games away from you during the workday. I also have this nice pair of noise canceling headphones that are super comfortable, and honestly I don't even listen I can't hear myself. And honestly I don't even listen to music for most of the day. I just use the noise canceling, and that just helps eliminate distractions like my neighbor's dog barking, Junie, you're awesome, and traffic because I live in the city. Let's talk about time management. Ooh, this couch. First things first, when it comes to time management, you gotta establish a schedule. For me, a secret to establishing a schedule is actually to start the night before. I try to get to bed around 10 o'clock since I usually wake up around 5 or 6 because I like to start the day early. I find that I'm most focused during the morning when nobody's on Slack yet, nobody's chatting me. And you might say, okay, well, I like to work late into the night. I like that too sometimes, and I've done that before. But in my opinion, in my view, you don't want to go to sleep right after you've had this really productive work session because your brain is still kind of in that productive mode. It makes sense that your sleep might not be as restful. So at least for me, I like to wake up early and have my really productive focus sessions early in the morning. You can use things like time tracking or a timer to establish an even tighter routine when it comes to working throughout the day. I actually use a Google Sheet and record all of the times that I work throughout the day to know how much time I'm taking breaks and how much time I'm actually working. Keeping track of this, like, it helps me stay on track because when you're working from home, there's so many distractions and things you can do, and there's no, social accountability other than your active status on Slack and going to meetings and getting stuff done. So for me, this has really helped me stay in touch with how much I'm actually working. And I even have this Google Sheet with the graph and everything so I can see, how much I'm working over the days and weeks. But I'm kind of crazy like that. Prioritizing tasks is another crucial element to time management. You really want to do the most important tasks first, even though sometimes those are the hardest tasks to do. There's this book called Eat the Frog, and it's a metaphor for, no one wants to eat a frog, but if you have to do that, that's the most important thing, you should do that first. A lot of people ask me what kind of to-do list is the best, and I think it varies from person to person. I've tried quite a few, but for me, actually, it's just writing the notes in the Apple Notes app and keeping track of it that way. I like this because it's seamless. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about an extra app, and I can take other notes right next to it. I write out the things I really need to do for the day in order of priority. I can also list subtasks under those, and then I check them off as I go throughout the day. And that's my to-do list for the day. Then on the next day, I'll just copy and paste yesterday's to-do list onto the current day, get rid of the tasks that I've already done, and then add the tasks that I need to do in addition. I've been using this pretty much the whole time I've been working at my current job, and I find it to be relatively effective. Keep in mind, it's more important to actually do the tasks than to keep track of them and spend all your time on a to-do list. All right, let's go to a different spot. This is some good coffee. By the way, check out my Instagram for a cool reel where you can see me make that coffee. All right, let me turn towards you guys so we can talk about this next topic, which is communication. Hopefully you guys can hear this. All right, so when I started working from home, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I get to go to restaurants, work from coffee shops. Yeah, everything's gonna be great. But I quickly realized because you're not around your teammates and colleagues, it makes it that much more important to stay in communication with them. A good rule of thumb is to over communicate. So if someone asks you a question, make sure you give a clear response to them so they're not wondering, what the actual answer is. Even though it might seem, a little bit like, hey, this person's typing too much or whatever. That's why it's important to know how to use your communication tools, whether that's Slack or email. And one tip for this is to learn how the notifications work. In Slack, I will set up and favorite my most important channels and make sure I have notifications on for those channels. For the less important channels that are usually bigger groups, I'll turn off notifications for those and just check them if I get a direct tag in those, or maybe once or twice throughout the day. For emails, I like to automatically filter emails into different buckets or folders, which makes it better signal to noise ratio. You just want to make sure that you take the time to do it in the beginning and you don't have to worry about it later. Another useful thing is to remember to have fun as much as you can, at work. So participate in like the social channels, stick around in before and after meetings, like video call meetings. I think it helps you connect with your teammates more. That's one of the biggest differences between working in an office and working from home. Like, you have to make the effort to connect as much as possible on a social level, because that strengthens the ties between you and your teammates. So you actually want to get your work done because, those are people you care about, and you care about the thing that you're working towards together. Those kind of above and beyond social interactions, I think, are super important when working from home because they don't happen naturally like they would in an office. Another important thing that has to do kind of with work and home life is to establish boundaries for when you're going to be working and when you're not going to be working. When you have your laptop at home, there's always more that you can do, but you need to know that you need to recharge. And you're not going to do that if you're always thinking about work and you're always sending that one more Slack message. So, take advantage of the snooze time on notifications. As much as you can, keep those two things separate, work and life, because there is such a thing as diminishing returns, as my manager likes to say. The longer you work, you're usually getting more done, but after a certain point, you're being less and less productive because you need time to recharge. All right, where should we go for this next one? I ran out of spots. It's kind of dark. The last tip, which kind of has to do with what I was just talking about, is the importance of health and wellness. You need to recharge. Taking breaks throughout the day is super important because it helps you recharge throughout the day instead of, just at the end. You might have heard of the Pomodoro technique, which is basically, you have a 90-minute work session, work for about 25 minutes, take a short break, another 25 minutes, take another short break, another 25 minutes, and then take a longer break. So I typically tend to do that. Sometimes I'll work for 45 minutes and take like a 10-minute break and then another 45. But I like to have those 90-minute focus sessions because it takes time to get into focus mode. So you don't want to go into focus mode and then come out, go into it and out. You want to have like 90 minutes where it's pretty much just focus. When it comes to breaks, you want to take healthy breaks. So some things that I like to do when I'm taking breaks are go for walks, just short 10 to 15-minute walks, eat a healthy snack like fruit or nuts. Nuts. Make some coffee, maybe drink some water, stay hydrated. Also, I like to play my guitar. It's a fun way to relax. Those kinds of things that are not addicting and are going to make it hard to start work again. Whatever is your advice. Try not to do those things. It's really important to avoid burnout because working, it's something that you do every day and you do it for a long time throughout the day. So in my view, it's more of a marathon than a sprint. In marathons, you have to pace yourself. Some other things I'd like to do if I'm not, in the mood for working, I like to take cold showers in the morning. I like to meditate in the morning. I like to get sunlight in my eyes in the morning. These are things that I've gotten from Andrew Huberman, who is a neuroscientist, has a podcast, and talks a lot about productivity and how to stay focused and motivated. Okay, now it's time for the bonus tip. I try to surround myself with people who are also productive and people that I want to be like. The content that I consume, it's from people that, I admire and who I think are trustworthy, believable, they know what they're talking about. and they get stuff done. Some examples are, Andrew Huberman, who I was talking about earlier. I really like Ray Dalio, who is a hedge fund manager and talks about achieving your goals. I've read Steve Jobs' biography, which is really motivating. And even my friends, the people that I choose to, hang out with after work, I think that they are good people and they're people that I want to be more like. So your life and your social components, they tie in together with your work and how productive you are throughout the day. You have a choice about who you want to hang out with and how you want to shape your life. Make that conscious choice to hang out with people you really admire, you want to be like, and who give you energy to achieve your goals and the things that you really want to do. So if you're into that, I post about productivity, achieving goals, those kinds of things. So be sure to hit subscribe, follow me on Instagram. I'm at JakeBo_, and comment, engage with the content, and you might meet other people who are kind of on a similar path as you. Maybe they live in the same city and you can connect with them, go to the gym together, or work on a project together. I think those real deep social connections where you're working with someone towards a common or similar goal, those are what make life great and more fulfilling. So give this video a like if you found it helpful at all, and I will see you in the next one.